Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Space Tomatoes podcast with your hosts, Havoc.
And LX. Hello.
Look at that guy. Just all, yeah, good guy. If you ever have an opportunity to meet him, you should take it.
Quit lying, everybody.
Probably won't, though, because reasons. Anyway, here we are again. We got, I don't know, time on our hands, things to say, maybe. I don't know. You got anything to say?
I've always got something to say, whether it's good or not. Whether anybody wants to listen to it is another story, but I can say something.
Well, isn't that the truth? Yeah, isn't that the truth always, right? Yeah. Well, hey, since you're here joining us and you're listening to our shenanigans on the podcast here, go ahead and subscribe. Like, click the button, follow, subscribe, like, share, do all that silly nonsense. Give us a comment. We respond to comments. Let us know if you have ideas for shows, etc. But, hey, give us some feedback. We'd like it. Show us some love.
Or if you'd like to be a guest, come on the show.
Absolutely. So what have you been up to this week?
Home improvement stuff. Painting. It's always fun.
Oh. Yeah. Painting is not one of my favorite activities.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's okay. I don't really enjoy it that much, but after it's all done, it's like, it looks better. So, doing all the doors, taking all the doors off the hinges and repainting them and repainting the walls. I mean, it's long overdue. Doing the drywall texture repair in a few spots because the dog hit a few spots. This has been a few years in the making. So if we decide to get a new dog at any point, I'd like to have things fresh and let it get messed up by the new dog, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah. Fix it all up so it can get ruined again. I mean, that's just basically life. Anyway,
that's how it goes.
Right? Yeah. So you guys, you lined up on a dog, or you still thinking on it? Not certain.
Nothing solid. I mean, the dog doesn't exist yet, but we're thinking in the fall we're going to get a puppy.
Somewhere around November.
Somewhere around there, maybe. I mean, however it works.
Mid-November sometime.
Or
maybe?
December. I don't know.
Or December.
Who knows?
Yeah. Heck, I mean, maybe just move on up here and,
There you go.
Then the dogs are closer.
That's right. There are lots of dogs out there. So it's just with the cats, we're finding that, especially with the German Shepherds, that we're very fond of, and I think we're going to continue that trend. It just seems if you don't start them when they're really small puppies and get them acclimated to being around the cats or other small prey type animals, it's I don't know, doesn't seem to work out. I'm sure there's some dogs out there that aren't affected by that, but we're kind of want to go for the puppy thing, even though I'm a little bit leery about doing the puppy thing because I forgot all the bad parts about it.
Oh boy. No, I don't know about Germans, but the Rottweilers. I remember when my wife and I got our first Rottweiler, not my first Rottweiler. And I told her, I said, I just need you to understand that there are going to be like massive scenes of destruction that are going to happen here and there. It's not going to be like every day, but it will be bad. And I cannot overstate this enough. It will be very, very bad. Everything's fine. We come home one day, go into the kitchen, the freaking floor has been ripped up. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I tried to tell you. She's like, I thought maybe chewing on some furniture or something. Oh, that'll happen too.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, animals are wonderful, but they do destroy property. There's just
when they're young, especially.
Yeah, there's just no way around that, I don't think. And like at the time, it's like, man, that kind of stinks, but you get over it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and they grow out of it.
Yeah, they do.
But all animals are really like that, right? I mean, growing up, we had a bird. It was a gray parrot or whatever. and it was younger, and I guess they're the same too, because it would just go like destroy stuff, like curtains, just eating the tearing the curtains apart at the top. It would like fly up and sit on the curtain rod thing and just pick the curtains apart, right?
I don't know. Do
you know
birds grow out of that? Birds can be kind of jerks.
I really don't know. That was my only experience living with birds, and it really did kind of convince me for a very long time I wanted nothing to do with a bird
Mm,
in my house. Then at some point I thought, hey, maybe, and I almost got a cockatiel, right? The big ones?
a cockatoo.
Cockatoo. Cockatoo.
Yeah,
Yeah. Big white
right,
cockatoo with the yellow, and he was super cool. Um, and ended up not doing that. The main reason I didn't do it wasn't destruction or anything like that. It was just, I'd still have the bird now, and it wouldn't even be half through its life,
right. Some of them
and I
live
am,
really long.
yeah, 80 to like 100
Mm,
years or something. And I was like, yeah, I was in my 20s. So, unless I'm planning to live out to ripe old age of 120 something, I wasn't really a good plan. I didn't think,
yeah.
you know.
Now we had a bird. It flew up to me in the backyard. I don't know if I've told this story before, but yeah. And then we ended up finding the lady, and she's like, "You just want to keep him? He's not a very nice bird." I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. So we had him for about 10 years, and he loved me. He would sit on my shoulder here. He'd like go on my neck. He actually would say, "Bird snuggles, bird snuggles." But he hated my wife for whatever reason, and she tried to bribe him with all. She'd get him all kinds of stuff. I mean, like everything, and he hated her. He'd fly at her face. He bit her hard a few times, like draw blood.
Oh,
Like you'd think, like he was a conure, so he was, like that big, about as big as the microphone.
what's a conure look like? Is that the green
He
parrots?
was green, yeah, he had green with red on his face. He was a
Okay, yeah.
yeah, white-eyed conure. So double the size of a parakeet, like a small parrot. With the hooked beak, like the kind
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
really dig into
Yeah.
your flesh if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, she
Yeah.
tried for. We had him for 10 years, before he died, but she tried her
Mm.
best to try to turn him. But I think birds are kind of like a lot of them are just like one person birds. They either like you or they don't like you, and I don't know why he chose me, but it was in the backyard. I saw him in a tree, and I put my finger up, and he just flew down. I'm like, I guess we got a bird. Like, I mean, we had the two German shepherds in the yard, and he still flew down there. They never really bothered him. They just, I mean, one time they like got up and grabbed his tail, and like the tail feathers went in went in his mouth. But I don't know. They didn't try to like eat him. They
Okay.
just wanted to hug him. I
Taste.
guess. I don't know. Give him kisses on the
Taste.
tail. That's what I like to think
Okay.
anyway.
Right. Yeah. That's
He
what it
held his
was.
own with the cats. I
Oh, yeah.
yeah. He'd come in the bathroom. He'd get like on the curtain rod and dance around, and he'd go in there when you have a shower. I think he liked the steam maybe or something. But the cats would
Yeah.
come in. He'd go down on the sink, and the cats would bat at him, and a little bit. Not really hurting him, but he if he get tired of it, he'd tell him, and they'd leave him alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've had friends that have owned them, and they really love them. They really enjoy them. And I had a great time hanging out with this bird because hanging out at the pet store. I wanted to make sure I understood what I was getting myself into.
Right.
And but there was a the what are they? They're the famous ones. The one everyone thinks of when they think parrot,
Like a
right?
macaw.
Macaw.
Yeah.
That's it. They had a macaw there,
The
and
blue
they
and gold
would.
ones, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they would he would get these little sticks, like bundles of sticks that were like wrapped
Mm-hmm.
together like this. And the sole purpose on that, I guess, is to keep their beak in shape or
Right.
something.
Mm-hmm.
This thing would just crunch straight through. Like, I mean, you couldn't break this bundle of
Oh
sticks,
yeah.
and you just you're just like, man, I can't imagine that'd take a pinky off.
It probably could. Probably bite your finger right off.
Dang, it was a nice parrot though.
Yeah,
But
thankfully, I think that has a lot to do with how they're raised, how well they're socialized, and how much they're handled when they're little.
mhm.
You just get a bird that's been stuck in a cage all by itself and not really handled, and then you try to do it, it's probably not going to go over so well.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's probably, yeah, that's probably it, because they had like, a number of birds at this place. It was a really nice, privately owned
Mm-hmm.
shop. It wasn't like a PetSmart, funnel for bad behavior.
Right.
It was really cool, and they had the section where they had all the birds, and then they'd had another section that you had to have staff to go into, and those were birds that they had taken in
Right.
and were working with, because they had behavioral issues, biting being one of them.
Right.
And so they didn't just let people in there, because you're probably going to get bit, and it's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Blood, who
I mean,
knows.
they are smart, and then I think they get bored. If they don't have enough, I don't want to say toys or some kind of outlet for their. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Aggression against being caged against
Something
your
like that.
will.
But if they are just locked up in a cage all day, people not paying attention to them, they do get either destructive, or they get like they pull all their feathers out, and then they never grow back. In a lot of the
Yeah,
cases, or
yeah.
they do stuff to get them in trouble.
Kind of like
I
humans.
guess, yeah.
Well, you put a bunch of humans in a cage, and it doesn't work out well. I mean, we've got a lot of history and proof of this. It's very evident. There's this thing called recidivism rate that shows pretty plainly that what we're doing does not work. And it's not that people are broken. It's basically, you take someone and put them in a, essentially gladiator school for years. When you put them back outside of that environment, that's all they know. That's what they've lived, you know, and that's a tough thing to overcome,
So what does work?
So
Like shock collars?
I would say actually no. I think honestly, something more along the lines of the carrot as opposed to the stick
Mm,
is a better way of doing this, and looking at it from the standpoint of actual like rehabilitation, right? So by the same token, you don't take a bird that has the power of flight and put it in a little cage and leave it there, right? It needs, like even ours, there was, daily times where you would let the bird cage open so that the bird could, fly around the house, and it enjoyed that. That was fun time for it.
yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I think some people don't respond so well unless there's a consequence for their action. I mean,
oh, there has
there
to
are
be.
certain
Yeah.
countries in the world where they do not steal. Like people just don't do it,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
if you do,
Yeah.
there are consequences to that. Like you'll be a hand short at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying no consequences, right? But like, I guess for me, well, we've already talked about this, right? Victimless crimes in
Mm,
the first place are a problem. But you take like a drug user, and you're like, okay, well, you've got this illegal substance on you, and you're by the looks of you not doing so well, but, whatever your situation is, you're not, in good health, etc. Obviously something's messed up, you know uh, so let me put you in a cage with a bunch of people that have stabbed, murdered, raped, etc. people, and that'll fix your problem, right? No, it's going to make the underlying issue even more severe. In that, the only thing you want is to not be in that life. That's it.
right.
and there's no incentive to change. There's no, like, let me put you through, a rehabilitation program, get you real training for a skill, a trade, something, and then it perpetuates outside of that. Once you're in that system, then it's even harder to find employment, right? And so it's just like you just basically perpetuate this cycle. And there's really zero thought going into rehabilitation. It's all punitive. There's nothing but punitive aspect to it. It's all it is. And again, consequences need to be there, no question, right? You can't go and do bad stuff to other people, harm other people without consequence. But at the same time, if you want that behavior to change, there has to be something put into that whole process to affect some form of change. You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying. All I know, I'm ready for my own island. To get away from it all.
I've been, yeah, same. I've been ready. If I win the lottery, I literally am going to find somewhere on earth that I can just go and buy a very large chunk of land and just be left alone. Just leave me alone. That's all. I'm not asking for this or that or the other thing. I just want you to leave me alone. Just let me live my life.
So even if you have like a large swath of property and you invite your friends and like-minded people there, like the government doesn't seem to like that very much for some reason. And there's a very fine line between building a community and building a cult. And I don't know where that line actually is drawn.
Well,
but it like the stuff you actually see on TV, I'm sure people have made it successfully, but it's the bad ones that always make it, the dramas that my wife watches. And I'm like, man, I don't want that to happen.
You never ever turn on the news and watch like solid good news about people prospering and everything else, unless it's like some tech leader just became the first richest man in the world or something. It's like, okay, who cares? But you don't hear about all the success stories. There are quite a few intentional communities that are very successful. There are definitely some that turn into cults. There's also the stigma, right? You look at the whole conspiracy theory thing, right? 20 years ago, a conspiracy theorist was a kook, a whack job, someone that just like had tinfoil walls in their house and all this crap. And today you realize that's not what it's about. These people are looking into things that way too much coincidence involved or some obvious non-factual pieces of information to an event, or people that were involved in something that make it suspicious, etc., right? And it's no longer like the kooky wacky tinfoil room, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that that's probably something that exists, right? But the same thing happens with the cult, right? You look at Waco, for example, the cult at that, that church. What, they started a church. They had their own religious beliefs. You could argue that any religious church could be seen as a cult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, what do? You go there to listen to the word, and you give money and time, and you make that your community, and you guys hang out after work. You do get-togethers at each other's houses, and I mean, it's starting to sound awful cultish, right? Or let's see, football fans, freaking cult, dude.
That's
super
true.
Cult,
Political cults.
But nobody actually looks at that and goes, well, that's a cult, right? They look at the stuff that they think, well, that's wacky. Yeah, okay, some of it's just flat out wacky. Like the Hale Bop people, like Jim Jones. Okay, that's not good. But like Waco was just peaceful people living their lives, from what I can understand.
Yeah, no, the dude was taking like
some,
he was taking all the women and like kind of hoarding them for himself. Which that's when the weird kind of stuff comes in.
No, and I'm not saying that that's not weird, but as far as I'm aware, nobody was forced to stay there. Nobody at any point was like, you have to be here. It was like, hey, if you want to leave, leave.
Yeah, no,
But if you leave, don't
I
come
think
back.
sometimes easily manipulated people are kind of drawn into them things. Even
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean that's not to say they're not intelligent. Sometimes intelligent people are caught up in that stuff too. But then you got one guy telling you you got to turn your wife over to him, and they go for it. Like I don't know, something ain't right here.
But which one's the not right one?
I guess.
Honestly, I
I mean, what
mean,
did they actually get them
that's
on, like weapons charges or something, right? Because they were getting like illegally,
suspicion of weapons.
or they sent an
They
undercover guy
believe
in there, right, to sell them something or buy
they
something.
no, they tried to. That was you're thinking of Ruby
Oh,
Ridge,
okay,
right?
similar,
They believed that they were in possession of materials to turn semi-automatic rifles
right?
into fully automatic
Mm-hmm.
rifles. That's all. It turns out they didn't find any evidence of that. Just decided to kill 83 men, women, and babies.
Yeah,
Babies, literal children, like toddler babies,
right.
stuff like that. And then the FBI, of course, posed with pictures over the corpses of some of these burnt
Nice.
bodies, like, yeah, like, you fucking idiots.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, all of that could have happened without a single shot fired. All I had to do is just wait someone to leave. Oh, we can't wait. Why? Well, they might, but they're not. But they could, but they aren't, and they didn't, and they weren't going to. You could have just waited for someone to make a supply run into town and just nab them at a traffic stop.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Instead of going raiding a freaking home and killing people and burning the place to the ground and causing, what should have been the absolute, I don't know. At that point, it should have been, if, whoo,
I
spicy
pushed the
time.
button, didn't I?
If, yeah, if I were in any form of leadership at that point, that would have been the end of that agency entirely. Gone. All of it. Done. We're starting over. We cannot have this crap, period.
Mm.
Especially after Ruby Ridge happened. And that was all because they suspected him of having a shotgun that had, a barrel shorter than the allowable
Yeah, that's
size.
kind of crazy.
This guy living in the middle of freaking nowhere, harming no one, just trying to live his life and be left alone. And, we end up with the result that we got.
The actual gun
Can't
laws
let
are
it,
kind of crazy. How
yeah.
adding a stock to it makes it, from a rifle to a pistol, and like it's the same stupid thing. Like,
Yeah, well, all that stuff's
mm,
unconstitutional anyway, and the ATF doesn't have the authority to just create legislation. That's not their. It's not. They don't have the right to do that. That's not their job. You are not Congress. You're an agency. You don't just get to go, oh yeah, we're going to deem that illegal now, and if you have one, you're going to jail.
right.
But I bought it when it was legal. Too bad. You know what? Fuck you.
Man, you're angry today.
I am. I'm just angry at all of that stuff.
Mm.
You know how I feel
We
about
should
this. I
we
just
should have
don't
just
think
stayed talking about puppies and birds.
puppies and birds. Way better topic. Very happy topic.
Mm.
How's the gardens going?
They're all pretty much crispy and dead almost.
Yeah, cactus is coming up
Yeah,
now.
no, I had a had a pineapple. So we had 3 pineapples out there. And we have them caged off. We used the aluminum gutter guards. It's like
Mm.
aluminum mesh things to encapsulate the pineapple so things don't eat it. They ate right through the metal. I think it was a.
Mm.
You should post that picture up, show people. It's kind of crazy. Like they ate right through the wire mesh of the gutter guard to get to the pineapple. But I didn't care. I harvested it and I cut that portion out and I ate it myself, and it was delicious.
I would imagine it
Mm.
was. Might want to, and I will put that up, but you might want to try hardware cloth
I
next time.
am going to try. Well, that's what we have covering the other one. But everybody was
Yeah.
saying, "No, these gutter guards work great." Yeah, not if you have a determined squirrel, apparently.
Yeah, they're pretty flimsy as far as their strength. They're probably great for most things, and they're super pliable.
Hmm.
Right? They're just like you grab one of those things and it just wants to,
Well, they're kind
you know.
of they're like half round, so you take two of them and like make a clamshell on the pineapple. So the other thing people do is take the cheap steel waste baskets from a dollar store or something, and before it gets too big, you cut the bottom out of it, and then you put it over the pineapple, and then you take another one and kind of put it together, the big end touching the big end, and you zip tie it on there so that it can grow inside there. But you got to do it, while it's still forming, or otherwise it won't fit. And apparently that
Oh
works
yeah.
okay. Maybe, we've got like probably 30 plants out there now, so we're going to have to figure something out.
I think you could fashion up something with just some tin snips and some hardware cloth
Yeah.
and make them reusable too.
I would hope so. Yeah, those squirrels are
Yeah.
voracious, man. They know exactly when they're ready too. Like they were waiting, and it
Oh
didn't
yeah.
look like ready. It was still fairly green, just a tiny tiny bit of yellow on it, but it was ready to be eaten.
We pulled our first cantaloupe yesterday.
Ooh, nice.
It wasn't quite all the way done, but very, very close. Very tasty.
Awesome.
We got about 20 or so more.
I did have a volunteer watermelon that came from somewhere. I'm not really sure where, but it kind of exploded. I think the rain just grew too fast and split. Unfortunately,
Oh
got it
yeah,
like a
that
softball
happens.
size and just split open.
Yeah, and that's going to be variety dependent
Yeah.
too. Some of them are really just you could do pretty much anything to, and they don't seem to split.
I mean, I didn't plant it.
And then
I don't work. The only thing I can think of is that I gave like the chicken some scraps, and then we took the chicken manure and put it around the banana trees, and it just kind of came up through there. I don't know.
yeah, probably those squash, tomatoes, those are all the kinds of seeds that I'm aware of. They all will survive
Yeah.
composting, and they'll just pop up.
Mm-hmm.
So pumpkins, but that's a squash. So yeah. That kind of stuff. It's pretty amazing. Like our compost tomatoes every year now we have this ginormous patch of tomatoes that grows. It's the best looking tomatoes I've ever seen. But we don't prune them. We don't trellis them. We don't water them. We don't even look at them. We just go out there when we dump compost, pick out tomatoes
Nice.
and leave. And they're always great tomatoes too.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it's amazing. Which led us to doing a bunch of the experiments that we had done with tomatoes, including what happens if you take a whole row of tomatoes. Like I think we planted something like 32 plants. What happens if you take 32 tomato plants and just don't do anything? I mean, water them, but nothing else. It turns out they produce just about the same amount of tomatoes, and you don't do anything to them. The big drop, and we also learned in doing that, because everyone says, you've got to keep your tomatoes trellised. You don't want your the fruit to touch the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll rot, right? You've
Yeah,
heard
of
that.
course.
I have literally picked tomatoes out of the dirt to where half of them were like they were
Really?
stuck in the dirt. Washed them off, and they're perfect. Done that whole experiment. 2 years we did that.
You would think some kind of
And
insect would get to them, start eating them.
they seem to do better.
Wow.
They seem to do a lot better, right? I don't know why. No idea. The one massive drawback is the tomato vines, right? So they literally vine out all over the place, and then the drawback is getting the tomatoes.
Right.
It's not the production.
Mm-hmm.
It's not where they're sitting or anything like that. We didn't have any issues with any of that. The only issue is you'd be stepping on vines and stuff, trying to get into a tangled mess to get a cluster of tomatoes out.
We had one plant we let do that, and then it made so many that they were all inside it. You really couldn't even get to them without kind of destroying the plant in the process.
Yep. And that's the main drawback. But it taught me a lot about the reality of the situation right now for harvesting, for actually getting to tomatoes, for management, for a lot of reasons pruning is good, right? I'm never going to tell anyone that's a bad idea to do. What I will tell people is it's absolutely not essential. It just is not. Go try it yourself. You'll I was blown away. And I, again, we repeated it the next year and in different places that time to find out, was this just an anomaly? No, it's not. At least not what we were seeing, right? Maybe we just got some fundamentally different, you know, vibe going on in the world over here in our little corner of the universe that tomatoes seem to break all the rules on. Not all of them,
I'm
though.
pretty sure gardening is just a series of experiments based on wherever you particularly live, because the way you grow
Yep.
stuff is completely different than the way we have to grow stuff. Like.
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, right off the bat, the zones,
Mm-hmm.
are a great base point. But I'm in the same zone as someone in Southern California. We are not the same.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a great base point, but it's not the same. I've got humidity that's going to give me powdery mildew every year. It's just going to happen. I don't even bother trying to do anything about
Right.
it. I just go, oh, well, here it is again. And then the new sets of leaves come and it doesn't have it. And I'm like, great. It's just what we do. You're not going to see that in California or the desert, Nevada, Arizona, etc. But you may be in the same zone, right? So I agree with that. And I encourage people, if you're gardening and you're not trying stuff just to see what happens, you're doing yourself a
Mm-hmm.
disservice, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't even go by what the zone is on a lot of the seed packages, because it doesn't quite correlate to where you are specifically. You just have to try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you can either try it
Yeah.
again or try something new.
Yeah. Other than the only looking at max temps and min temps,
Mm-hmm.
soil temp, I think is more critical than looking at your zone. But at the same time, stay inside your zone. There's reasons, right?
Right.
Like apple trees don't grow in Florida. I don't care what you get. It's just not going to happen. Unless you've got a nice walk-in freezer you can put your apple tree into for a few
Yeah,
weeks every
there's actually
year.
two types of apples that say they grow in Florida. We actually have two of them. The Anna, and I forget what the other one. I mean, we have the trees out there. I don't know if they'll ever produce. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, we got two little ones about the size of a quarter, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But right now they don't look. All the leaves are kind of curled up, and they're just trying to make it through.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? The extreme sun and the temps,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, it's just and hey, that's neat. I did not know they had a variety for that. It's kind of like but we also like found a variety of banana that's supposed to grow here,
How'd that
right?
work
And
out
I'm
for
like,
you?
it
Hmm.
melted. It melted the second it hit
Yeah.
freezing. It was not just dead,
Even
melted.
here,
Like,
I don't think it's warm enough. 'Cause ours decided to fruit like right before we got a week of cold, and then the whole bunch died, and it was like that. Okay, that was a waste, because after they do that, then the plant's done.
yeah, one
Yeah,
time you get a one shot.
right.
Yeah.
So,
So, but the cool thing is they did come back,
mm-hmm,
and now we have a decorative banana tree. Well,
nice.
three of them
You
now.
can dig it up every year
And
and bring it inside.
yeah, no, this is a big banana tree, not a dwarf. It's pretty large. I mean, it's you saw it.
Yeah.
It was what 12 feet
Oh, was
high,
it that
something like
big?
that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the leaves and
Yeah.
everything, right? I mean, the actual tree. If we cut all the
We got
leaves
the
off, it
little
would
ones.
probably die.
We have the dwarf ones. I think the other ones are too
Yeah.
big. Like, I don't know how we'd
Well,
pick them.
I couldn't find this variety in
Oh,
dwarf.
okay.
And so I was like, all right, well, we'll get this. Because originally the idea was we would bring it in somehow,
Mm.
right? Maybe put it in like a 30-gallon, 50-gallon pot or something and get like a hand truck for it,
All
right?
right.
But
Not gonna work.
yeah, no, it's too big.
Hmm.
I mean, we could put it in our living room because we do have vaulted ceilings, but it'd be the whole living room.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very practical.
No, not really. No, it looked cool though. That'd be pretty interesting. Dude, you have a banana tree growing in your house.
I'm sure the cat might like it.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. Our cat's not very cat-like, cattish. He's he's got he's do you ever see that meme? I think I posted it a long time ago, and it's got the cat outside, and it like runs out, and it's just charges up this tree and across a branch, and then it flips over to another cat on a patio with like a ficus tree, and it's like can't figure out how to get on the tree at all,
No,
and it's
you'll have
got
to send it to me again if
the
you find it.
piccolo playing. Yeah, that's our cat, the second
All
one,
right.
not the first one.
Yeah, I don't think our
But
cats would be very good wild cats. We make fun of them all the time. Like I don't think it'd last 2 seconds. I tried to take him outside one day to like see the chickens, and she freaked out. Like I thought she would like to see them, but no, not interested at all. She'd like put me back inside.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's not the best of he's a good cat. He's a good house cat, but yeah, like he's no Domino, that's for
No,
sure. Domino is our barn cat, one of our barn cats, by the way, and he's the consummate cat, and he's the best cat in the world. Sorry, everybody, we found him, and he's just awesome. He just loves everyone, and he kills everything. I mean, everything, like birds mid-flight, tag right out of the air. Just like what? He's a good dude.
nice. Earns his
Yeah,
keep, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. I suppose.
You still having those
We've been
possums
doing.
poking around your barn, or they kind of take off and leave?
No, that was just during a pretty heavy
All
storm.
right.
Yeah, didn't see him in there ever again.
Yeah. Every once in a while, we'll have one come around. We got to kind of relocate it.
Yeah, we have been having something come into the chicken coop, so I did end up getting cameras.
No, you did.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
those
but I
Chinese
made sure
companies
they
are going to
have.
know when you're coming and going now.
I made sure they have no cloud connection.
Ah, okay.
They do operate over Wi-Fi, but there is no cloud connection.
That's what they tell
So,
you anyway.
well, I've got means and methods to make sure that that's the
Actually, I
case.
just saw a thing
But
about Ring. I guess Ring is going to give the police access to footage without warrants now. Isn't that kind of crazy?
they haven't been. No, they have
Oh,
been.
okay. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have Ring, so but
yeah.
if you do,
No, they have been. They've also been. Alexa has a feature, as well as some of the other ones, where they can detect through radio frequency.
hmm,
They have a radio frequency chip on them. Which why? Why do you need low bandwidth? Well, it turns out that it's for the thing to be able to determine if there's another thing close,
all right.
within a mile or something. Not a mile. I think it's like I don't remember the distance. It's a pretty decent range. Um, it's low power radio frequency, and so what they can also do is get information from those things as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, of course, you've heard about all the flock cameras, right?
And I've been seeing them. Like we
Mm-hmm.
usually don't go out that much, but like every time we go out now, and they're pretty nondescript. It's like a pole with I don't know, it's a 12-inch or so solar panel up top and a little black camera about
Yep.
the size of this thing. And yeah,
Yep.
it's not advertised like that's what it is, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And now with the Palantir rollout,
No, what is it? I haven't heard of
Palantir.
that.
Oh, my goodness. Uh, Yeah, we'll have to dig into that one on a session because that's a pretty big one.
I'm curious about the
What it
flock
is,
cameras. What do they actually do with that information? And then we saw something neat driving down the road the other day, and my wife was like, "What is on the back of that car?" And it wasn't a police car, just like a Toyota Corolla or something. It has those license plate reading cameras on the back, and I assumed it was like a repo company or something, or I don't know what it is, but yeah, I guess
could
private
be
companies have access to those databases now too.
it could be repo. It's also another way that a lot of the times uh, public employees capture data that they're not allowed to capture on their own
Hmm.
because they can actually get that data if it's from a private company that's selling that
I
data.
see.
But they can't go and surveil everyone themselves. But it's not illegal to publicly surveil whoever the heck you want as a company.
Hmm. Alrighty then.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and what they're for is they do license plate reading. I believe they also have facial recognition and behavioral patterns, movement patterns as well. So, like your walk can be identified. The way you walk,
Hmm.
your posture, your gait, your stride, all of that stuff. The link from your knee to your ankle, from your knee to your hip joint, elbow. All of these points of data can be taken to give a fairly accurate picture of a person, so you could tell that that's LX walking in a group of
Right.
people without ever seeing the face.
Right. Now, my wife was watching some
Yeah.
TV show that she watches, like some spy kind of thing or something, and these people. And this is all fake, and this for the TV show. But people broke into this warehouse, and they all had balaclavas on, and they're we can't identify them. We're like, and the one guy's, we have software that can identify people through the soft facial coverings. I wouldn't be surprised if they really had software that does that now.
They do. They have for a while. The problem is the accuracy,
Mm,
right? You can't go after someone and then defend it in court if there's like even like a 6%
really?
chance you're
Okay.
wrong. That 6% is
Mm,
huge. That means out of 100 people, you'll get it wrong 6 times.
right.
So what are you going to do? Convict six innocent people? And no, I'm sorry. I'm in the camp of I'd rather 1,000 guilty men go free than one innocent person be punished. I'm sorry. That should never happen.
I did see, I want to say, I think it was in Georgia, but I'm not 100% sure, where this guy got picked up for, they thought he robbed a bank because the facial recognition software tagged him as the guy that was on the bank video robbing the bank. And come to find out, it wasn't him. He had a solid alibi. Like he was never even near, near that place. But still, I mean, they
Well,
dragged
there,
him to jail. He was sitting there for, days or a week or whatever until they could get it sorted out. That's kind of crazy.
yeah, and that actually happened in the United States.
Yeah. I think it was
Uh,
like the state of Georgia. I'm pretty sure it was.
oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Then that's insane, and that's what Palantir does.
Mm,
That's a big. They track, trace, analyze. You can think of them as our new pre-crime department, where they'll literally analyze your all of your psychology based on your
right.
life, all of the recorded stuff. People don't understand how pervasive this is. They literally play on your psychology, right? But they can literally sit there and model your psychology and then look at your behavioral patterns and where you're going, who you're hanging out with, who those people hang out with, what they do online, where there are points of interaction, what groups you may be a member of, blah, 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 blah. And then, categorize you into like a threat risk model, right?
I want to see my file.
Well, the really fucked up thing about that is now it's going through all of government.
Hmm.
They're putting it in for healthcare as well. So all of government, local, everything, right? It's all going to be tied together. We're now going to have a nice, nifty database that tracks, trace, analyzes, and categorizes, and assigns threat modeling, and in some cases points out individuals that may be about to commit a crime. So, of course, you need to intervene on someone that might do something in the
But
future.
it's all about your safety.
Right. There was a book about this, wasn't there? I don't know. What was it, 19 something, or I don't know, 84, whatever.
I probably should. I've never read that. I think I saw the movie, but maybe some of it. I don't think I've read the whole thing or saw the whole movie.
It's pretty chilling. It's really chilling. It really is. Especially if you read it today and start really paying attention to what's going on with Palantir and the flock cameras and the linking of all the different agencies and everything else, this is literally that now. It's not a joke. It really isn't, and then you think about some of the most notable quotes in that book, and it's like, you are here. This is not like a fiction novel. You are literally here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point we might reach that place where they make you have some kind of thing to buy or sell or trade, like you have to take this mark.
Well, I mean, if you listen to our new Health and Human Service, what is it? Health and Human Services leader, Mr. Kennedy.
I try not. I try to stay away from the news as much as possible, but it tries to follow me sometimes. Yeah, like, here, look at this, and I'm like, no, please.
He's been a big advocate that a lot of people were behind because of what he was saying. He has now basically flip-flopped on just about all of that stuff. Let me take that back. I can't say just about all. What I will say is he has flip-flopped on some of the most major portions of that. and is now saying, no, I'm still on your side. This is just a nuanced take. No, jackass, you went backwards. At one point you said wearables are the digital prison of the future or something akin to that, and now you're saying you want every American alive to be to wear one of these.
Really? I haven't heard that yet.
Within the next 4 years.
Not going to happen.
And
not for me anyway. I mean, it might happen for everybody else. It ain't happening for me. I can guarantee you that 100%.
Same here. And I, no, just no. And then he was all against the mRNA ever being on the vaccine schedule. Not ever, but being on the vaccine schedule. He was, proponent of choice in that matter. In fact, mostly across the board. And then apparently he went on vacation as a staffer's without his knowledge, which I'm sorry, I'm just going to call bullshit because it's bullshit, right? I can smell it from here. And his staffers approved the mRNA shots for children, 6 months old and older.
Alrighty.
And he came back and apparently was like very upset. So he fired the people. Okay. It's been like a month and a half. Why haven't you fucking rescinded it if you didn't want that to be the case? In other words, you are a liar. Yeah. You're a shill. You're a grifter. You're a con man. That's what you are. I think
they kind of all are,
just
aren't
like
they?
the rest of the people around there. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. They are.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as the mRNA stuff, I what is it, 5 years now? I still have yet to regret my decision to not take that stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm in the same camp. Yeah, I have zero regrets about not wearing a mask. I have zero regrets about not following social distancing. I have zero regrets about not getting a shot. Period. I just don't have.
I'm sure I'm on a list somewhere because of it, but that's okay, right?
I don't really care. I literally had staples put in the back of my head, and wouldn't take Novocaine for it. Like, just go, doc. And he's like, well, this is going to hurt. I'm like, I'm aware of that. He's like, it's just Novocaine. I'm like, after my interaction with your nurse over there, you're not getting near me this minute. You have all lost all trust. zero trust. So yeah, I know probably Novocaine, but I can't be certain of that.
Right.
And so you're just going to do it without any. And so he
Oh, you're
did.
definitely on the
He
list.
wanted to do, right? He wanted to do sutures, and I'm like, yeah, great, do them. He goes, well, that's going to take longer. I'm like, I don't care. He goes, well, staples will hurt more, but it'll go a little quicker. I'm like, just pick one. I don't care. I'll be fine. I will make it through this. It's not the worst thing I've ever felt in my life, and I'll get through it. And I'm not letting you near me with a freaking syringe, period.
I applaud your commitment. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
how do you trust
You
them?
know,
How do you
I
trust them?
understand 100%.
Especially when you find out that people were getting, vaccinated without their consent, in some cases against their will, in the guise of keeping you safe, or hey, there's enough evidence out there right now that was just literally to make money,
The
right? And that's fucked up. Let me just say this real clearly. First, do no harm. Period. That's the one thing. You have one job.
I mean, it is a little
That's it.
concerning when you see, 5 years later that these doctors were getting bonuses based on how many times they were giving out these shots. Isn't that
Oh yeah. Well, they do today.
that's kind of
They still
weird?
do. They have. Yeah, the pharmaceutical companies put out great incentives to push their new meds, to push vaccination, to increase the rate of vaccination, etc. And I'm not going to sit here and tell anyone to or not to
Yeah,
vaccinate. That's your choice, 100%, and it should always be. It should never be anyone else's choice.
all right.
Period. Okay, and at the same time, it's freaking slimy as you can get to have drug manufacturers paying doctors to use their medication. That's that. I don't know how much slimier can you get than that.
Even these advertisements that you see, and you can't go anywhere without seeing them for medications.
Yep.
You can't go out and buy them. You have to go to your doctor
No.
and say, like, hey, I saw this on, TV, or I saw it on YouTube or Facebook. I want that. Like, half the time they don't even tell you what it's for.
Right. Right.
It's just, why would they have advertisements for stuff that you cannot go and directly buy?
Well, first they go and they incentivize the doctors and get them to sign up on a program. And once they've got a good network of all these doctors out here that are agreed into that program, they push the advertising. And you'll notice in the advertising, they say, ask your doctor if, I'm just going to throw one in there, ask your doctor if Ozempic is right for you. Now everyone goes to their doctor and goes, fuck, dude, I want to lose weight. And I don't want to do anything. I just want, just give me a shot. I heard about this Ozempic stuff. Is it right for me? And the doctor goes, there's your prescription. You're like, well, I don't need to.
Right.
It's right for everyone. Do you know why it's right for everyone? Well, let me just tell you this package I get per shot that I prescribe, it's right for me, baby.
The craziest thing, any of these ads are like, do not take this if you are allergic to, or whatever it is. And I'm like, how the heck would you know unless you take it and then you find out you're allergic to it? Like, and then they have a 30-second commercial. 15 seconds of that is telling you all the bad things that it can do to you at the end. I'm like, why would you take that? But again, exactly.
And death.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking sign me up, dude.
But it should be a choice. If you want to go play in the street in traffic, I mean, I think it should be your choice to do so. Just, like, things might happen.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You're kind of screwed. Yeah, that one I might take a little. I mean, okay, go for it. But I just feel bad for poor old grandma driving back, and some yo-yo goes and exercises their their right to stand in the freeway, and she hits the dude and kills
Yeah.
him, and then she's got to live with that for the rest of her life. You know, that's the that would be the part that would bother me about that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go, you know, if you want to go do stupid things and you know, play stupid games and win stupid prizes, go for it, man. Just don't hurt other people.
Like,
just don't harm
like skydiving, it's inherently dangerous, but I think you should be able to do it. I just don't want to do it by myself, and I can't convince anybody to do it with me.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, you'll go with me.
Yeah.
To
I'll
observe.
meet you back on the ground because I'm staying in the
I only want to do it once.
That's all it takes, man. That's all it takes.
It
One
looks
time.
fun.
It does look like a lot of fun. It does.
But yeah, and then you, yeah, no, I don't know.
I saw a reel the other day, like one of these, you know, Darwin Awards type for reels or something. But it wasn't like, they didn't do anything stupid. It was just it was skydiving issues. I think everyone recovered from these issues, but yeah, no thanks. Like, oh fuck, my chute didn't open, and or it opened and it's all tangled up and it's starting to wrap around my fucking body. And now I've got to cut all this crap loose in time to be able to throw my spare, you know, or whatever you call it. And it's like, yeah, that's not an amusement ride I want to sign up for, man. You know, like, no thanks. I just, yeah, that'd be a very long, you know, 10 seconds trying to recover from an issue.
Oh, it's going to be like the longest 10 seconds, right? Like ever.
Oh yeah. Yes. All the while your brain is screaming at you, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
As the ground's going like this.
It's approaching very rapidly.
Yeah. No thanks. No, I would like to go skydiving. Who knows? I think my back could probably get.
How about the indoor thing with the fan? I mean, that's not as dangerous, right?
I would totally be down for that.
I think they have that in Charlotte.
Totally. They do. Yeah, I'd be down for that if you want to do that. Book an extra.
Of course,
day.
we'd have to lie. I did look them up before, and they say you can't have any prior shoulder injuries or surgeries or nothing. No, of course not.
What? What are you talking about? Just keep the metal detector away.
Right? I don't got no metal. I'd pass that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I do. It's stronger now. Doc said so. Right? I'm fine. I'd do it. If you want to do it, I'm down. Book an extra day at Shea Havoc, and you know, we can go ahead down there. I don't think the whole crew would be into it.
Maybe.
I think there'd be a few people.
They'd probably like to observe.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. We can check it out. I'll start researching that. That might be a lot of fun.
Or we can just do karaoke, whatever you want to do.
Karaoke honestly sounds like a blast, man. Just, you know, get everybody, you know, in a nice place. We'll, you know, get the music.
Maybe we can just rent a nice system for the day and entertain your neighbors.
Yeah. And,
we can start at like 10 or 11 p.m. and on Saturday night, just right before.
Things are well in that category right now. I have one real neighbor, and
I wouldn't want to do that though.
They're good folks. They really are, and you know, we get along.
I wouldn't
well.
appreciate if somebody did that to me, so I wouldn't do that to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 2 a.m.
It was.
We were like a bunch of howler monkeys out there.
I agree. My fault, 100%. I was laughing a little too hard. You were just saying too many funny things.
Everything was funny.
Everything was pretty funny.
Everything.
Oh man!
Even when he did that, we all just like. it just started go
It was almost
inside.
like a sitcom, right? Like,
It was hilarious.
y'all gonna ever shut
Oh,
up over there?
I think he said, "Shut the fuck up!" Just
Something like
screamed it
that.
out his window. Keeping in mind, this man is in his 80s. Okay, so
In his defense,
yes,
I probably would have done the same thing at some point.
same, and I will say it's a testament to where we live and the neighbor that we have. That that was the response, as opposed to what you would find most other places, which is you'd have someone knocking on your door with flashing lights outside. You know,
Right.
so I think all things considered, it went over okay, and we talked after, we've talked about it, and he's like, yeah, he doesn't really care for the most part, except that happens to be the time of year when windows go open in the
Right.
South, because there's not pollen. Spring, you really can't leave your windows open unless you want a yellow inside of your house. And summer, no, right?
Yeah, no.
It's like summer here is like, take a blanket, get it wet, throw it in the dryer, and leave it in there for a good half hour, 20 minutes on high. Pull it out, throw it over yourself, and breathe in it. That's summer here. So you don't open your windows. So fall's really our big airing out time.
When
And
do those ladybugs come
on
around
top
your
of
house?
that,
They were like swarming you that one time. That had to be in November too, right?
yeah, it's right around
Mm.
there. We have a lot of
Are
ladybugs
those
out here.
ladybugs or
So
those lady beetles? Like I know, and
uh
those ones are mean. Those lady beetles. I didn't know they bit the crap out of me in the backyard once.
you sure those are squash bugs, I
No,
think.
they look like lady, but they got the extra white dots or something.
Oh, all right. I remember something about
Mm.
this. No, these are just ladybugs. They'll crawl on you. They'll
Yeah.
tickle, but that's all they're going to do.
Mm.
They like to get inside the house, which is, I don't know why, but they just do. I remember when I was traveling here for business before I moved here. Um, I was staying at an Embassy Suites in Charlotte, and they actually had signs up when you went to go register, letting people know, yes, you'll probably find some ladybugs in your room, and they're going to, in a lot of the rooms you had balcony, and they're like, you're probably going to find them on the door to the balcony, and out on the balcony, and they're harmless, and they're just a feature of North Carolina at this time of year. And so, yeah, that was also, I think, that was also the same place I saw my first North Carolinian lightning bugs.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you guys have them at your place? Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah. 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 In the spring.
Hmm.
Yeah. Spring, late spring. They're pretty awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
And I think the little, I have a suspicion that, well, maybe it's not. I don't know what it is, but it's an interesting thing that I've noticed is they always go up when they light. So they'll be cruising along and then they light up, and then they cruise along and then they light up. It's pretty funny.
We really don't have them down here anymore. I don't know. Like I remember seeing them as a
Oh,
kid a little
really?
bit, but I haven't seen any in a long time.
Oh, I love them, man. They're so, and they stink, but I mean, they're so, yeah, it's just something magical and beautiful about something like that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
I do know what you mean.
It just really is. Yeah. I remember once driving through. Well, actually, we were in Iowa. We were coming from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and going to Des Moines. I know, Des Moines. But we were doing that, and on the way in between the two is a whole lot of absolutely nothing, but ag fields, and there were all these ag fields out there, and the sun had set, and the colors starting to fade, and the next thing you know, they're just lit up with these little flashing, sparkly lightning bugs everywhere. was pretty
It does
cool.
sound pretty cool. Never been to Iowa. See,
It's a
yeah,
place.
it's a place.
It is. It's got some neat stuff. It does. It's got some neat stuff. I like it there. I've never had like a bad time. I wouldn't necessarily want to live there personally. I think
It gets pretty cold.
their winters are not
Yeah.
good for me.
If it
You
wasn't
know,
for winters, I'd probably be in like North Dakota or like Montana. But
I would, yeah, I would take those two or
mm,
Wyoming, even with the winters. Wyoming most specifically because of the fact that there's like less than my local city's population in the entire state, which to me is about the kind of thing I'm looking
mm.
for, right?
Yeah, no,
A
I'm the
lot of
same.
people
I
say
mean, I want to love thy neighbor, but I have difficulty with that sometimes. I would rather just leave my neighbor alone
you
and
can love
have my neighbor leave me alone.
thy neighbor and still be 15 miles from the
Yeah, I
nearest one.
suppose that's true.
The distance is, come on, man. So that's just my take, I mean, I'd be okay if it was an hour drive into the nearest
Mm,
town. I've lived like that before, and I quite enjoyed it when I was younger, even. Um, at the time, going through it, being a teenager, I didn't like it so
right.
much, but you know, looking back on it, I had a lot of enjoyment that I wouldn't have had living in the suburbs you know where we
Yeah,
had
when
lived.
I was
So
growing up, there was nothing here, and I hated it. And I always wanted to go like live in the city. And now that I'm older, I want back what we used to have. I'm like, get rid of all these people, get rid of all these stupid stores. Now they have everything
yep,
here, and I hate it.
yeah, I'm firmly in the camp of further away from people is
Mm,
better. Period. You always hear people say, "Well, I don't like people," but you look at what they do, normally, and it's like you sure do expend a lot of effort going to places with a lot of people for not liking people.
I try to I
Then there's
try my
me.
best to like people. They seem to try to make it extremely difficult for me for some reason. I don't know why.
Yep. And then there's me, right? I literally spent I've done it more than once, but about 6 months without leaving this
Mm.
property. I'm
Oh,
okay with
I
it.
would be
I'm
absolutely
100%.
fine with that.
Yeah. So that to me is really I don't really want to. It's not that I don't like people. I like people, but kind of the same thing, right? It seems like uh, being around a lot of people leads to situations that are uncomfortable or potentially dangerous, and I don't like
For
that.
you or for
I
them?
see no need for that. There's no difference. How's that? There is no difference. So yeah, it's not a just I'll take my chances with the animals.
There you go.
They, overall, they're more predictable and less likely to cause grievous bodily harm.
Mm. Anyway,
That's my way.
we did not extend our apologies for skipping a week for our dedicated watchers of our program here. We did take a little break. We didn't really let anybody know, but we did. So sorry about that. We'll try to keep it on schedule
Yeah,
from here on out.
we will try. There will be times where we'll take a break. We'll try and let you know ahead of time. We did kind of say we were taking a break on the one thing, and we should have probably released a quick, something or whatever.
Probably.
But hey, there will be times where we take a break. We're not going away, and we'll follow back up pretty quickly. But hey, we don't make any money doing this. We do this really because we enjoy it, right? So hopefully that translates into something enjoyable for
And for
you.
those waiting for Raw Milk episode 2, that's coming too at some point, I'm sure. The research is ongoing.
It is. It is. There's a lot to wade through on this, and there's a lot of I guess maybe I just haven't found it yet. But right now, it seems like there's a lot of missing information. Uh, so yeah, but there will 100% be another milk episode, and I'm gonna say it'll be in the month of August.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, might be like the very last day of August, but I'm gonna try and hold myself to that in the month of August. It's a lot to research this stuff, and again, I'm not getting paid for this. Nobody's giving me anything for this. In fact, over half the people that watch this stuff don't ever hit subscribe. So, that's okay. You do you, right? I'm happy you're watching it. Hopefully, you get some enjoyment
What
out of
if
it.
Big Milk wants to
Uh,
send you a
but
check for making the results what they want them to be?
no, that's fine. They can send me a check. I'm not going to make the results anything different, though. I'll take your money, but I'm not going to do that. Sorry.
Hopefully, you don't disappear. Hey, we haven't
Yeah,
seen Havoc in a while. I wonder where he went.
right. Yeah, I would hope not. Right. I don't think we're. I don't know. Who knows? One thing that was interesting to me is some of the timing, though. Right. If you look at what we were talking about, 1943, they came out with that. That the not a study. They came out with the statement from the doctor at the London hospital or whatever it was, saying that tooth decay was basically non-existent for children brought up on raw milk. Right, 1943, 1945, very early in the year, hit piece by Coronet magazine that basically, this big outbreak, again, outbreak, two people. What? But big outbreak, and raw milk bad, people gonna die, but it was all fake town, fake outbreak, just fabricated. Oddly enough, at the end of that year, some of the municipalities started doing this thing where they were putting neurotoxin in the water supply for, what was it again? What was the reason they said they were adding that in there? Let me see. Oh, it was
Oops.
teeth. Yeah, that's right. How weird. That's interesting timing, isn't it? Don't you think that's a little coinky dinkle?
You know what else would be coincidental if like next week we get an announcement that you retired and moved to Crossroads USA and we never hear from you again, or me,
Right? And died from undulant
right?
fever drinking raw milk.
Nice.
Never know.
Anyway,
Could happen. But yeah, so there's little things that I spin off my time as well, right? I want to get the meat of the research, but when things like that cross my mind, I'm not inclined to just let them go. At that point, it makes me go, I want to dig in. I want to find out who are the key players in this thing, who are the key players in that thing, who are the key players, how do they fit together, are they tied together? Be real interesting if you found out that there was a connection, and it's a pretty easy one to make. Why? Well, let's look at it from just a logical standpoint. Fluoride, what's put in the municipal water supplies primarily, comes from waste product from making chemical fertilizers. Now, what industry uses chemical fertilizers? Well, that's interesting, right? Yeah, so there is a tie there. And so, yeah, that's part of what takes so long on these things. We don't have a team of people doing this. It's just me spinning my wheels, trying to talk to people, trying to read as many studies as I can before I want to vomit. Some of them are so just like blatantly biased, right? I mean, you can just look at it and go, that's just biased, you get the gist of it, right? There's a big push here to villainize something, and you see that just in the number of studies. right? There's like 5 to 10 studies or something like that on the benefits of raw milk. And there's like 200 plus studies on the risks of raw milk.
Interesting.
Yeah. And those studies are funded. Probably somewhere in the high 60%, at least of them are funded through government grants. So, they're not going to fund a study on the risks of raw milk and have you go put in the benefits of raw milk, right? So, and it's interesting to note that, there's the difference in the number of studies is likely due to a lack of funding to do studies on the benefits. So,
I'll be curious to see what you find.
oh, yeah. I mean, I've found a lot of information. Some of it, to be honest with you, is you can tailor a study to show just about anything you want. And some of these studies are exactly that. And that's what I meant by bias. Just like you tailored it so finely to exclude anything that went against this, that did you really do a study or did you just write an op-ed article? You know what I mean? Not op-ed. I guess it wouldn't be opinion. It would be, but did you just write, some kind of editorial on it as opposed to actually doing a study? Because, in a true study, you want to find all the information, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? You typically you don't want to just go for the good. Yes, you want to prove your point. Otherwise, what the hell are you anyway, right? If you're out there trying to do a study that shows, X, Y, and Z, and you constantly come up with A, B, and C instead, well, then maybe you need a different career, like maybe weatherman. That would be good for you because you could just be wrong all the time. Nobody cares, right? So
fair enough.
It's a pretty killer job. You think about it, right? I mean, what
are the consequences if you're wrong? Not much, right?
Well, we got that one wrong yesterday. Today, though, it's going to be blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, we got that one wrong yesterday, but today it's going to be blah, blah, blah. That's it. That's it. Nobody even cares. They're like, there's jokes about how wrong the weatherman is. I mean, so it's a pretty killer job. You can just be wrong all the time, and it's expected of you. Well, it's the weather. You know how these things go. No, I don't. You're supposed to tell me, and you're not doing a good job of it.
Are they hiring?
Right? I could do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we're sexy enough for
probably
that.
Not. No.
Either that, or it's probably just we're too sexy for that. That's what it is. That's what I think. They'd be like, yeah, no, you'd steal all this. People wouldn't even watch the rest of the whole network. They'd just tune in for your little,
You look nice in a suit.
1-minute segment.
Yeah.
Me? Yeah, I dress up, clean up okay, I suppose. I imagine you look nice in a suit too. Mm-hmm. Everybody looks good in fancy duds. Period. You do. It's just it looks good. Sorry. I'm not suggesting you wear that all the time, but I mean it looks good. I actually had this discussion a while back. If you look at the pictures of old farmers, right? When I say old, like early 1900s and stuff, late 1800s, you'll notice something striking about them all. They're wearing slacks with suspenders, usually, sometimes a belt,
all right,
a long sleeve button down shirt, and a jacket. Always. Really? Working on the tractor, picking potatoes out of the mud, you name it. They're dressed like that.
Why is that?
I think people back then, I think it was more just the way society was, right? You just dressed, what was seen at the time as appropriately, and appropriate was to dress nice, right? It wasn't, now granted their coats and stuff were probably, patched and whatever else. And, some of their clothing may have been threadbare, etc. But, they still put in, that type of that level of, care for their appearance.
Now you can wear your
Unlike
pajama pants out in public. Nobody even looks twice.
exactly. That's, I guess, where I was going with this is, it's been a societal shift.
A little bit.
Not only do farmers not wear that stuff, but I don't know. Take a trip to Walmart any day, anywhere
I
in
try
the
not
US.
to.
Yeah, same. But I mean, that's the picture right there. Like you said, hair and curlers, freaking pajama pants, and like
Where was I at?
tank top, 4 sizes too
Sam's
small.
Club. No shoes. Can you imagine walking around a Sam's Club with no shoes on?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't think I would do that.
Here you want to really get the heaves. I've seen people walk around hospitals with no shoes on. That's just that right there. I'm sorry. That is one of the most disgusting places that I can imagine. And walking around with no shoes on. Yeah, no thanks.
Between the people coming out of the bathroom that don't wash their hands after, doing that and no shoes and no. I don't know, man. Yeah. It's not me.
Hey, and Japanese look at us as, dirty people as well. Yeah. We wipe with toilet paper. They're like, ew, gross. I can't say that I would disagree heavily with them on that one either.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got poop on your hands, would you just wipe it off with paper?
No.
Why not?
All right. Yeah. No. I'm opting out of the poop talk. Let's. No, thank you. That's the line. See you next week, everybody.
All right, no more scat chat.
Yeah, no, thank you. You found my weakness.
I did. I've heard.
Oh man!
And puppy again? You're gonna what? Puppy? Did you say something about a puppy?
All right.
That's gonna go over well.
Anyway, I think we're pretty good for this week.
I think you're probably right. I'm sorry. I think I may have damaged
a little bit. I gotta go wash my brain.
Do you use like pressure washer? Just put it in one ear.
Terrible.
Don't do that. I don't know why I feel like I have to say this, but don't ever do that. Just don't do that. That's not going to work out well for you if you survive. So
not everything needs a disclaimer. Yeah.
I know, but anymore, curling irons come with a warning.
Do they? I can only imagine.
I've seen a warning label on one, at least one of them, that said for external use only.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good place to end this. Remember, tomatoes are for eating. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. We really appreciate you. You can find us on the usual places: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio,
Telegram,
X, and then we have a Telegram channel that maybe someday our other host will join.
I got to finish doing that. I halfway signed up.
For now, you can get in there and chat with me, and we have a bunch of notes from the Raw Milk episode with links, etc. So all of what we talked about is available in there as well. So if you want to dig into that stuff, feel free. If you have, studies, papers, information, etc., you can drop it in there. and we'll pick it up and make sure we do due diligence, but dig into it as well. So great place to exchange ideas with the hosts of this podcast and be interactive. Not to mention the videos we post there. You can download them and keep them on your device and watch them at a later time. And probably want to delete them after that, but because they're big, they're not small files. But anyway, you can find us on all those services. Give us a watch. Check us out. Comment, like, don't like, I don't care. Do something. And remember, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this, have an amazing day.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. See you later.